Milk on the wall, 99 bottles of milk. You take one there and you pass it around. 98 bottles of milk on the wall, 98 bottles of milk on the wall, 98 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 97 bottles of milk on the wall, 97 bottles of milk on the wall, 97 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 96 bottles of milk on the wall, 96 bottles of milk on the wall, 96 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 95 bottles of milk on the wall, 95 bottles of milk on the wall, 95 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 94 bottles of milk on the wall, 94 bottles of milk on the wall, 94 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 93 bottles of milk on the wall, 93 bottles of milk on the wall, 93 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 92 bottles of milk on the wall, 92 bottles of milk on the wall, 92 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 91 bottles of milk on the wall, 91 bottles of milk on the wall, 91 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 90 bottles of milk on the wall, 90 bottles of milk on the wall, 90 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 89 bottles of milk on the wall, 89 bottles of milk on the wall, 89 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 88 bottles of milk on the wall, 88 bottles of milk on the wall, 88 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 87 bottles of milk on the wall, 87 bottles of milk on the wall, 87 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 86 bottles of milk on the wall, 86 bottles of milk on the wall, 86 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 85 bottles of milk on the wall, 85 bottles of milk on the wall, 85 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 84 bottles of milk on the wall, 84 bottles of milk on the wall, 84 bottles of milk. Take one down, sit around. 83 bottles of milk on the wall, 83 bottles of milk on the wall, 83 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 82 bottles of milk on the wall, 82 bottles of milk on the wall, 82 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 81 bottles of milk on the wall, 81 bottles of milk on the wall, 81 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 80 bottles of milk on the wall, 80 bottles of milk on the wall, 80 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. You take one down, you pass it around. 79 bottles of milk on the wall, 79 bottles of milk on the wall, 79 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 78 bottles of milk on the wall, 78 bottles of milk on the wall, 78 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 77 bottles of milk on the wall, 77 bottles of milk on the wall, 77 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 76 bottles of milk on the wall, 76 bottles of milk on the wall, 76 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 75 bottles of milk on the wall, 75 bottles of milk on the wall, 75 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 74 bottles of milk on the wall, 74 bottles of milk on the wall, 74 bottles of milk. You take one down, pass it around. 73 bottles of milk on the wall, 73 bottles of milk on the wall, 73 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 72 bottles of milk on the wall, 72 bottles of milk on the wall, 72 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 71 bottles of milk on the wall, 71 bottles of milk on the wall, 71 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 70 bottles of milk on the wall, 70 bottles of milk on the wall, 70 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 69 bottles of milk on the wall, 69 bottles of milk on the wall, 69 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 68 bottles of milk on the wall, 68 bottles of milk on the wall, 68 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 67 bottles of milk on the wall, 67 bottles of milk on the wall, 67 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 65 bottles of milk. 66 bottles of milk on the wall, 66 bottles of milk on the wall, 66 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 65 bottles of milk on the wall, 65 bottles of milk on the wall, 65 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 64 bottles of milk on the wall, 64 bottles of milk on the wall, 64 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 63 bottles of milk on the wall, 63 bottles of milk on the wall, 63 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 62 bottles of milk on the wall, 62 bottles of milk on the wall, 62 bottles of milk. Take them down, you pass it around. 61 bottles of milk on the wall, 61 bottles of milk on the wall, 61 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 60 bottles of milk on the wall, 60 bottles of milk on the wall, 60 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 59 bottles of milk on the 59 bottles of milk on the wall, 59 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 58 bottles of milk on the wall, 58 bottles of milk on the wall, 58 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 57 bottles of milk on the wall. 57 bottles of milk on the wall. 57 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 55 bottles of milk on the wall. 55 bottles of milk on the wall. 55 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 54 bottles of milk on the wall. 54 bottles of milk on the wall. 54 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 53 bottles of milk on the wall. 53 bottles of milk on the wall. 53 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 52 bottles of milk on the wall. 52 bottles of milk on the wall. 52 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 51 bottles of milk on the wall. 51 bottles of milk on the wall. 51 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 50 bottles of milk on the wall. 50 bottles of milk on the wall. 50 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 49 bottles of milk on the wall. 49 bottles of milk on the wall. 49 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 48 bottles of milk on the wall. 48 bottles of milk on the wall. 48 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 47 bottles of milk on the wall. 47 bottles of milk on the wall. 47 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 46 bottles of milk on the wall. 46 bottles of milk on the wall. 46 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 45 bottles of milk on the wall. 45 bottles of milk on the wall. 45 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 44 bottles of milk on the wall. 44 bottles of milk on the wall. 44 bottles of milk. Take one down, pass it around. 43 bottles of milk on the wall. 43 bottles of milk on the wall. 43 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 42 bottles of milk on the wall. Break time. Break time over. 41 bottles of milk on the wall. 41 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 40 bottles of milk on the wall. 40 bottles of milk on the wall. 40 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 39 bottles of milk. 39 bottles of milk on the wall. 39 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 38 bottles of milk on the wall. 38 bottles of milk on the wall. 38 bottles of milk. You take one down, sit around. 37 bottles of milk on the wall. 37 bottles of milk on the wall. 37 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 36 bottles of milk on the wall. 36 bottles of milk on the wall. 36 bottles of milk. You take one down, pass it around. 32 bottles of milk. 35 bottles of milk on the wall. 35 bottles of milk on the wall. 35 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 34 bottles of milk on the wall. 34 bottles of milk on the wall. 34 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 34 bottles of milk on the wall. 34 bottles of milk on the wall. 4 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 33 bottles of milk on the wall. 33 bottles of milk on the wall. 33 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 32 bottles of milk on the wall. 32 bottles of milk on the wall. 32 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 31 bottles of milk on the wall. 30 bottles of milk on the wall. 31 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 30 bottles of milk on the wall. 29 bottles of milk on the wall. 29 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 28 bottles of milk on the wall. 28 bottles of milk on the wall. 28 bottles of milk. You take one down and you pass it around. 27 bottles of milk. 27 bottles of milk on the wall. 27 bottles of milk. You take one down and you pass it around. 26 bottles of milk on the wall. 26 bottles of milk on the wall. 26 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 24 bottles of milk on the wall. 25 bottles of milk on the wall. 25 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 25 bottles of milk on the wall. 25 bottles of milk on the wall. 25 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 23 bottles of milk on the wall. 23 bottles of milk on the wall. 23 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 22 bottles of milk on the wall. 22 bottles of milk on the wall. 22 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 26 bottles of milk on the wall. 26 bottles of milk on the wall. Wait, no. 22. 23 bottles of milk on the wall. 23 bottles of milk. Take one down and pass it around. 32 bottles of milk on the wall. No, 23 bottles of milk on the wall. 23 bottles of milk on the wall. 23 bottles of milk. Take one down and pass it around. 22 bottles of milk on the wall. 22 bottles of milk on the wall. 22 bottles of milk. Take one down and pass it around. 21 bottles of milk on the wall. 21 bottles of milk on the wall. 21 bottles of milk. You take one down. You pass it around. 20 bottles of milk on the wall. 20 bottles of milk on the wall. 20 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 19 bottles of milk on the wall. 19 bottles of milk on the wall. 19 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 18 bottles of milk on the wall. 18 bottles of milk on the wall. 18 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 17 bottles of milk on the wall. 17 bottles of milk on the wall. 17 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 16 bottles of milk on the wall. 16 bottles of milk on the wall. 16 bottles of milk. You take one down, pass it around. 15 bottles of milk on the wall. 15 bottles of milk on the wall. 15 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 14 bottles of milk on the wall. 14 bottles of milk on the wall. 14 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 13 bottles of milk on the wall. 13 bottles of milk on the wall. 13 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 12 bottles of milk on the wall. 12 bottles of milk on the wall. 12 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 11 bottles of milk on the wall. 11 bottles of milk on the wall. 11 bottles of milk. You take 11 bottles of milk on the wall. 11 bottles of milk. You take one down. It's around 10 bottles of milk on the wall. 10 bottles of milk on the wall. 10 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 9 bottles of milk on the wall. 9 bottles of milk on the wall. 9 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 8 bottles of milk on the wall. 8 bottles of milk on the wall. 8 bottles of milk. Take one down, you pass it around. 7 bottles of milk on the wall. 7 bottles of milk on the wall. 7 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 6 bottles of milk on the wall. 6 bottles of milk on the wall. 6 bottles of milk. You take one down, sit around. 5 bottles of milk on the wall. 5 bottles of milk on the wall. 5 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 4 bottles of milk on the wall. 4 bottles of milk on the wall. 4 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 3 bottles of milk on the wall. 3 bottles of milk on the wall. 3 bottles of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. 2 bottles of milk on the wall. 2 bottles of milk on the wall. 2 bottles of milk. You take one down. 1 bottle of milk on the wall. 1 bottle of milk on the wall. 1 bottle of milk. You take one down, you pass it around. No more bottles of milk on the wall.